of the season about wanting your guys to crash on the offensive glass. You guys were saying 3 to the basket on offensive rebounds more than any other team in the league, but you guys are also failing to get back in transition. Is there any thought to changing that?
No, you can do both. It's been proven. We've proven you can do both. We've proven it. We proved it last year. We proved a lot of this year. You play these really fast teams. That's their identity, right? And they got behind us a couple of times, but still want to go to the boards. Still part of our philosophy.
You said not the offensive rebound. You can do both there. So if it's not that, then what do you attribute the transition stuff?
Like I said, losing the sprint. We're losing too many of the sprint battles, we call them. And it's the 0-second reactions. After a turnover, right? It's like these teams are just going. As soon the ball's loose, they're gone, and they're beating us off the line.
That was back in December against the Chicago Bulls, where the Cleveland Cavaliers were outscored 7-20 in transition points. And last night, the New York Knicks were able to close the series out by abusing this same weakness, where they scored 25 fast break points in the first half alone, and ultimately scored 33 fast break points on their way to a 4-0 sweep. One of the problems with the Cavaliers' transition defense are the gambles they like to take on the offensive glass. And so when Mitchell and Strus run this guard-to-guard action, Strus gets a wide-open 3, but it barely rims out. And so now the Knicks are out in transition, and it's a wide-open lob pass from Mikal Bridges on the other end. But if you watch back this play, we can see some of the problems with this strategy. In this scenario, Jarrett Allen and Evan Mobley, they're both going to be crashing the glass. Both are good offensive rebounders, but naturally they're going to be slower than the small ball lineup full of wings that the New York Knicks have. And so when they get this defensive rebound here, Max Strus is going to be slower to get back than Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges is now on this one-on-one with Max Strus, and there's nobody in the paint, and it's an easy lob pass for 2 points. Here James Harden misses this 3-point attempt, and now this time you have 3 attacking the glass with Max Strus this time. Donovan Mitchell and James Harden are slow to get back, and Mitchell is forced to foul Mikal Bridges for 2 easy free throws. On this possession, it's really only Jarrett Allen crashing the glass, and none of the guards or wings are leaking out for the Knicks, so you would expect good Cavs transition defense, but now they forget about Karl-Anthony Towns on the break, and it's a wide open dunk. So we've seen 2 players crash the glass, we've seen 3 players crash the glass. How about all 5 Cavs players crashing the glass here? Cat gets the rebound, and it's an easy outlet pass to Jalen Brunson for a layup. So the Cavaliers actually send 0 to the glass here, and you would expect them to finally have some good transition defense, but now it's OG Anunoby in a foot race against Dean Wade, and this is just a crazy poster dunk that probably should have been an and one. It also wasn't just on shot attempts where they're getting out and transition. Here James Harden gets a clear side to isolate, McBride gets a steal, and now, like I said, with this double big lineup, Evan Mobley is forced to get back against the guard Landry Shamet. It's a poor closeout, and Landry Shamet just takes a sidestep and knocks down the 3. This time it's Mitchell driving, and Karl-Anthony Towns is able to help off the non-shooter and Jarrett Allen. Jose Alvarado pulls up for the transition 3, and this sets up the monster Karl-Anthony Towns putback dunk. But if we watch back this play here, you can see Jarrett Allen is slow to get back. Evan Mobley's not even in the frame here, so there's nobody to box out Karl-Anthony Towns, and it's an easy dunk against the smaller defenders in Harden and Mitchell. The Knicks also did a great job executing offensively. Here for the first 2 points of the game, Mikal Bridges comes to set this flare screen, but notices that Harden's not even paying attention, so he cuts to the basket and gets his wide open floater. Here Robinson and Bridges are getting guarded by the much weaker defenders in Harden and Merrill, and so they decide to run an action involving the both of them by running this ram action, which is just an off-ball screen into an on-ball screen. But here Sam Merrill actually does a great job at top blocking and denying Mikal Bridges from setting this screen for Brunson. So Bridges just pops out, and they decide to run this pick and roll with him and Mitchell Robinson. And now it's a 6'4" Sam Merrill trying to stop this lob, and Mitchell Robinson gets an easy lob at the basket. And what makes this work so well is Karl-Anthony Towns is spacing out in the corner, an excellent 3-point shooter, so Jalen Tyson can't tag early, and it's an easy dunk. Knicks come down and run this same pick and roll with Robinson, But this time it's Sam Merrill as a tag man, and he has the decision to help on the roll or help on Shamet, who's lifting out of the corner. He stays in no man's land, and it's another easy lob for Mitchell Robinson. On the third time down that the Knicks run this, they do a much better job at containing this. You can see Tyson tagging Mitchell Robinson. Mobley's able to contain this lob, but instead, Mitchell Robinson's actually just going to set this Gortat screen, which gives Jalen Brunson a lane to the basket. Merrill's forced to help, and it's another wide open 3. You can actually compare this with how the Knicks were rotating and helping on defense. Here, Donovan Mitchell gets a drive on Brunson. Mitchell Robinson steps up, and OG Anunoby rotates down. And this leaves a wide open Evan Mobley for 3, but he only shot 29% from 3 this series, and this was a shot that the Knicks were willing to live with. On this stop, Anunoby is cheating over early here, so when Brunson hedges this screen, he doesn't need to sprint over to Strus. Instead, Anunoby just picks up Strus, but he actually falls for this pump fake, so when Brunson's Xing out, he decides to go back and stop this Strus drive, and it gives just enough time for Cat to block it. The Cavs found a lot of success in this short roll, so when Donovan Mitchell gets blitzed here, Evan Mobley's in a short roll, but Mikal Bridges is stunting and he's able to recover on James Harden with his length. Brunson actually gets a part of the ball here, and he recovers on the Sam Merrill and gets a good contest, and that's another great defensive possession. The Cavs deployed this 3-2 zone a couple times in the second quarter and second half, which gave the Knicks a little bit of trouble. You can see when they get the ball to Cat here, the Knicks aren't on the same page. Both players cut at the same time. So when they reverse the ball to Jalen Brunson, he tries to drive, but Evan Mobley's there. When Cat tries to drive, Evan Mobley contests his floater, and that's good defense by the Cavs. So on this possession down, they decide to enter the ball to Cat in this high post, and Jalen Brunson sets this flex screen for Mikal Bridges to occupy James Harden. Josh Hart tries to set this pin down for Jalen Brunson, but Max Strus does a great job at denying it, so Jalen Brunson just drifts to the corner. He gets Max Strus on a bad closeout, and this is a good layup attacking the middle of the zone. The Knicks really emphasized attacking the middle of this zone. You can see OG Anunoby on a clear side against Jarrett Allen. None of the Cavs defenders are facing Mikal Bridges, and so Mikal Bridges gets a practice 3-pointer. This time it's Mikal Bridges attacking the middle from a pass from Deuce McBride. You can see Mikal Bridges gets the ball here, attacks the middle. Jalen Tyson has his back turn, so Jalen Brunson just drifts to the corner, and this is another great look. The Knicks also subbed in sharpshooter Landry Shamet to break the zone. Here the Knicks run this overload on the left side. It's a swing, and now Landry Shamet's attacking a poor closeout from Evan Mobley, and that's an easy dunk. Here Mikal Bridges cuts along the baseline and then flashes towards the free throw line, occupying Evan Mobley. So now when Bridges gets the ball, Sam Merrill's forced to drop down to guard Mitchell Robinson, and this leaves Landry Shamet for a wide open skip pass for a great look again. Shamet continues to be such a good role player for this Knicks team. Take a look at this baseline out of bounds play where Shamet's coming off this screen for Mitchell Robinson, which is the first initial look. This isn't there, so they immediately flow into their second option, which is this Zoomer Chicago action, which is pretty much just a pin down into a handoff. Mitchell Robinson decides to keep the ball here, so they immediately flow into their empty side pick and roll with all players spaced on the other side. Both players go to Shamet, makes the easy read, and Mitchell Robinson gets a dunk. On this play, Brunson gets his flat isolation where pretty much all 4 players are lined up along the baseline. This gives Brunson an isolation at the top of the key, and Shamet's placed 1 pass away, so Sam Merrill can't help at all. And so when Brunson attacks, he has all the space in the world to get this jumper. The Knicks played a great series against the Cavs, and they continue to have a historic playoff run. Their first finals appearance since 1999, and now they're 4 wins away from winning an NBA championship.